This video is brought to you by the Logitech Lightspeed Wireless range of keyboards, mice and headsets, the benchmark in wireless gaming performance.
Hello and welcome to another Time Capsule 2007 PC video. I'm Digital Foundry here, looking at Hitman Blood Money from 2006, IO Interactive, and today to talk about this game, I'm joined by my friend and colleague, John Linneman. How are you doing there, John?
Hello, Alex, my also friend and colleague. It is good to speak with you today. No, this is great. So we're back in the time machine, sort of. This is the classic era of Hitman, you could say.
Yeah,
Before
right.
they transitioned, I think Hitman Absolution is kind of that middle point, you know, after they had done fiddling around with other things like Kane and Lynch. This is a game that was still running on technology developed for the PS2 generation and older PCs.
Yeah.
And this game, Hitman Blood Money, launched on those previous generation systems and on the PC and Xbox 360. So it is a cross-gen release of its era, just like Hitman 3.
Super late cross-gen too with 2006, right? Like that's
yeah,
pretty late.
The 360 had just launched earlier in 2005, or like November 2005, I believe. Mm-hmm. So this was still pretty early in the life of the 360. The PC was seeing major changes on the graphics card side, though we were still a little bit. I don't think the 8800 GTX was out yet.
That came out, I want to say in like May of that year or so. So it's close.
Maybe it's close. This might be right around there then.
Yeah, right.
But either way,
I'm running this on the 8800 GT, so a 2007, essentially very similar to the 8800 GTX and the Q6600 here.
Why don't you actually go down the street though?
Yeah, and it's running with flying colors, I'll say. The reason why I wanted to stay here just for a little bit is because I actually did want to talk about some of the weird cross-gen stuff. Like, this does not look, I would say, particularly amazing for a 2006 game if you look at something like Gears of War, which was obviously, just lightning miles ahead of this. But there is some stuff. There's some specularity on the ground here. So, it was using some form of like normal mapping. And you can see like specularity over here on like the lamp post. But the rest of the game, as you were saying, it has like PS2 and original Xbox roots. It really looks it. I mean, like all the static lighting. I think the only thing that's like not static is your self character shadows.
Although,
and the character model
check out the shadow from that tree in front of you.
Yeah, sure.
At least from what I can see, it looks like they're trying to simulate contact hardening.
Yeah,
with their baked shadows here.
Yeah, it is. It's actually really cool looking.
Which is cool, right? Like, it actually works. I mean, if you don't have a dynamic sun, why not?
Yeah, I know, right? all these Hitman levels, much like the more modern Hitman, from IO Interactive, it's like you load up a mission, static time of day, sandboxy playground you walk around in. I guess the kind of larger difference here, though, is that from the technology of the time, it's less focused on, I would say, like crowded areas that we've seen in the more Hitman games.
Well, that's not necessarily true. This game had some huge crowds in it. I think this was actually one of the first Hitman games to do that. We actually tried to load up the mission here earlier.
Yeah.
And it crashed.
But it crashed.
So,
yeah, I can't go in here right now. I'm looking to kill. Who am I looking to actually kill? I think it should be in my. I don't know how to open that up. Was it M? Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
Man,
that's actually pretty cool.
Those little icons take me back. Like, they look like little power symbols. That was always the classic representation of objects in the world, dynamic characters.
I think they're actually the exact same in the Rainbow Six games as well, oddly enough. I wonder why that is. But like going through it, it's kind of interesting that when you walk into one of these static shadows, it does actually affect the shading on Hitman. On Agent 47 here. It kind of surprises me a little bit. Sometimes in some games it goes...
That goes back even... I mean, I was just talking about this in the original Grandia on Sega Saturn. When you walk under the shadowed regions, it darkens the character sprites. So, like, developers have been thinking about this for a long time.
I'm pretty sure I can...
This is a weird period of time, though, because we were transitioning away from baked lighting and baked shadows into more real time. And I kind of feel like there was this period where games kind of got pretty ugly for a while. Like in the pursuit of dynamic lighting, things got ugly.
Oh yeah,
and
completely.
A lot of these things don't hold up well, whereas like the older static baked lighting and shadows often look artistically better now than those early efforts at real-time lighting.
I'm gonna actually agree with you there. There was a lot of, I would say, so what's going on here? Why am I actually? I don't even know what I did to cause that.
The fact is, though, is you just trespassed on her lawn. Right?
No, this is very true. And
she was trimming, and now she's angry and actually. That does not look.
That does not look right.
Wow.
Yeah, like the way the scissors or head shears were going through her legs there did not look right. She's not very happy with me. I guess I should go to an area where I can subdue her. This is so weird. I don't even know why that would have. Okay, so
it actually makes it it's a little creepy.
It is a little weird. I do like the split screen which they're using here, where you can do multiple viewports. I guess she's gonna. I guess I'm gonna go inside here. She's doing something here. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
So you're making a mockery of this.
This is not how you're supposed to play the game.
This is one of my favorite things about Hitman games, is just messing around with the AI and seeing what they do.
Yeah.
Because it's often ridiculous. Look at that.
I mean, a little bit of clipping, which is expected, but like this is actually pretty awesome for the time.
Yeah. We first saw that stuff in like the Splinter Cell games, right?
Yep. So now they're shooting at me.
Okay,
but
they are
whatever.
not happy.
Oh, gosh, I'm like I said, I'm making a mockery of this. Unfortunately, yeah. Everyone's probably going to be watching this video going like, "Oh my god, I can't believe what Alex is doing here." Classic akimbo pistols. Let's use them. Stop. Just see, like, look at the AI. Though is kind of funny, where the guy's still jogging as the agent is just coming after me. Like, this is completely normal on this street here. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna. Okay, there we go. Come on, let's get rid of him. There are some
just up to no good.
Yeah, there are some really awesome things in this game. I think if I can drag his body here. Yeah, the way he puts the weapons away inside of his like jacket and things like that.
Yeah. I like that.
Look at the way his tie also moves as he drags. Like, I think a lot of modern games, when you drag bodies, instead of they keep a continuous motion cycle because they want to use similar animation sets. But for this one, there's a specific one where he has to like drag the body. And at this time, IO Interactive was really using ragdolls, and it was one of the first times I actually remember seeing ragdolls was in their games.
The original.
Yeah, right?
Hitman Codename 47, the very first game had ragdolls, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, the characters would flip all over the place.
I'm having so much fun with this right now.
But it was basically, like, I don't know if it's actually the first, but it's absolutely one of the first.
I think it is too. Like, I don't have a great recollection of ones after that. Obviously the problem with ragdolls in this area is that it wasn't like they were blending animations between ragdoll and stuff like that from a death animation, but usually when you would just kill someone in a game, they would immediately ragdoll. And playing this game's training mission earlier, it can obviously lead to some very funny moments where the immediate ragdoll catches the model in an area where you just don't expect it, and it like flips out.
There's that. There's the lack of friction being calculated there, and that kind of stuff. And again, it's similar to the lighting, where if you go back to animation before Ragdoll was introduced, a lot of that actually looks superior. Like, you just look at something like GoldenEye, right? Like, the death animations in that are still awesome.
They're still great.
Completely just like, they're just animations that play out, but they look visually pleasing. Turok, of course.
Turok, yeah. I was thinking about that immediately.
So obviously the move to Ragdoll early on, it kind of looked ridiculous and not great, but it added this level of dynamism that was missing from the more static animations. And obviously, in time, things got better, and now it's kind of a standard thing. But it's when you introduce new technology for the first time, there is that period where you kind of have to work through the initial limitations.
I really want to say that Killzone 2 was one of the first games that I think that in the kind of post-Ragdoll era that really did death animations in a first-person shooter really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
They were like
they did a great job with
contextual, and they always felt like really rough. Like, it really looked like you were doing some terrible damage there. So now,
you say rough, you don't mean like bad. You mean rough as in like intense.
Intense, yeah, that's what I mean. They looked great. So let's okay, like, will I be spotted as I do this here. Okay, let's grab my piano wire out. Or actually, it's nylon wire in this game, not piano wire. Or fiber wire. Dang.
One thing about so Blood Money, I guess it's kind of hard to get a picture for it here, or an ear for it here, is the soundtrack.
Yes.
Hitman, the early games up so through, I guess, Hitman Blood Money here were all scored by Jesper Kyd.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Hitman Contracts. That's my favorite. But Blood Money Straight 2, Hitman 2, all great. They just have this phenomenal, super dark soundscape that was just... It's like this like weird Euro symphonic, like grungy sound that's just really like, to me, the soundscape of these games is as important to the visuals and the game design as, you know, like the sound was in like Silent Hill or something. Like, it was so critical to building the atmosphere in Hitman. And I will say, like, the new games, the score is very dynamic. I appreciate that, and it's good. But it's missing something. It just doesn't have that grungy, dark atmosphere that the music in these prior Hitman games had, and it's really a shame. I don't know what happened there, like why Jesper Kyd split off from these guys.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a shame because, like, I just feel like that's one of those things. Like, I would love to see him make a return to the series someday.
He's gonna frisk me, right? Yeah, that's right. I do like how they kept like a lot of these things. Like, if you can totally see the continuity between this game and the ones thereafter. I have to surrender my weapons because I'm a clown who's carrying, 2 pistols. Isn't he like wondering why this clown is carrying 2 pistols? But did Jesper Kyd actually work on Kane and Lynch with them as well?
He did. I think Kane and Lynch 1. But he also around that time had worked on Assassin's Creed, and he still does work on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's right.
But
gosh,
not but his original work on Assassin's Creed was really good.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of funny when you're talking about this kind of dark. I mean, I'd say these games are what I would call them the equivalent of dark humor in video games. Look at me right now. There's so many absurd costumes Agent 47 can put on to infiltrate an area. And, it's like he's this like massive, bald-headed, extremely fit. Like, what did I do? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to go up there. That's right. Okay. I do actually like the animation on the stairs, how he changes his animation there. If you can see that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not just like the usual stair-stepping weirdness that you would see. They do change the animations for that. So now, for here... They're cooking stuff on the stove. Do I have actually access to... I have a bomb, a syringe, which I can put inside, poison that I can inject poison into the pot. I don't know. There's a lot of ways I can do this. Boost to health. I'll maybe take that later. But coming back... Oh, I don't want to take that route right here. But coming back to these games, one thing that I actually do appreciate from the newer series quite a lot is... I'd say these games, at least the way I remember playing Hitman 2, is very much so designed around like a mouse and keyboard. And playing it nowadays, it feels okay, but it's not as smooth as playing something like Hitman, the new IO Interactive Hitman series of games.
They've come a long way.
They've come a long way in terms of controls here. This, like, sometimes I'm accidentally doing things here just because it's a little awkward to like constantly be hitting right mouse button to disequip and unequip and things like that. So it is interesting to look at the trajectory of their games, because like they've made a lot of Hitman games, but after Blood Money, they would then spend the next several years doing both Kane and Lynch. They did 2 of those games, and then they did Mini Ninjas. And then when they actually came and returned to Hitman, with Square Enix publishing it, they tried their hand at a more cinematic, scripted, dare I say, like, it was like the direction that stuff like Uncharted and you're right.
Gears was going, where everything's like cinematic and more scripted out, and that's what Hitman Absolution is. And I don't dislike Hitman Absolution, but it's very different from what Hitman originally was. And basically after Hitman Absolution, they took 4 more years then, and that's when they came up with the 2016 Hitman game, which kind of goes directly back to these original roots, and possibly even further, where it's really focused on just, here's this playground with AI, and there's many ways to complete your mission. And I really love that they found their stride with the new Hitman games, because they're really, really well done, very creative endeavors, And in fact, as of Hitman 3, IO Interactive has actually published the game themselves.
Yeah, right?
Which is the first time where they weren't tied to a third-party publisher. So, that's cool.
Okay, wait, let's do this really quickly. Come on. Okay, don't see me, don't see me, don't see me. Oh, no! Okay, I didn't do that right. But one thing I'm actually very interested in, let's just restart this mission because I am playing this absolutely horribly. One thing I'm really interested in to see is what they'll end up doing with their, 007 license that they have access to. They're, given the way they've kind of designed their Hitman games recently, and they do have, semblances of tech already there in these, in the most recent Hitman games that could be easily be repurposed for a 007 game, like the large crowds, kind of like infiltrating into an area. They have a cover system. The combat's a little bit rudimentary, I would say, in something like, so let's actually try and do this.
It is.
Right here.
I actually think for 007, they might need to look back towards what they were trying to do with Hitman Absolution, while still maintaining, kind of the scope that they're known for, but it would. I feel like it needs to be a little more cinematic, like the goofy nature of Hitman,
yes.
which is so much fun. I don't really think it fits 007 all that well.
I'm gonna agree with you right there. It doesn't really fit. So maybe they'll, maybe who knows what type of 007 game it could be. It could be any way from like cinematic to maybe some sort of all the James Bond films, like over a period of time or something like that, and you kind of like choose which Bond you want to play. Who knows? There's a lot of things they can do.
Because they always try to paint Bond as like this smooth guy, but 47 is kind of the smooth character. He's just all about going in and doing things very quietly and just getting it done. 007 is more of a blunt instrument, really, where he shows up, he looks cool, but when it's time to like get down to business, he's just lets it go.
Beware of dog. Let's try this out.
We'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah.
So this game, I've barely talked about the performance so far because it is running amazingly. I'm so sorry, dog. I'm like so sorry. Wait a sec. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. I'm gonna sneak in from behind. But this is running at 720p, the highest settings, 4 times MSAA on the 8800 GT here, and it's just running amazingly. There's no.
I think those were the same settings as the Xbox 360 version, but that version was capped at 30 frames per second.
Oh, see, this is not an easy game to play when talking. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
No, I understand.
Oh, this is an area, by the way, when we're talking about advances of technology, where SSAO would do wonders. This is pre-SSAO, of course, and I'm just going to die. Do they know exactly where I am? Let's find out. Really great looking models, though, in this menu here. I actually do love that. It gives me a bit of a Resident Evil 4 vibe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's, in terms of technology, though, that this does have that makes it kind of, I would say, 2006 or better, there is bloom, which this is the era of bloom, and I just failed the mission. Going back, John and I were looking at some PS2 footage before this. I did that. But that version doesn't seem to have bloom, unlike the, what I would presume the Xbox 360 and PC version has here. So there's only, oh my gosh, very dramatic here, Agent 47. I just want the mission to end. John, let's try and load up a different mission really quickly here.
All right, and see if it crashes. Okay, we can continue. I'm going to do a clap.
And we're back into a different level this time, into the, I guess John, you were describing as the Mardi Gras stage. I don't actually...
This is the most famous map in the entirety of Hitman Blood Money, A Murder of Crows.
That's
and
what
this
it
is the one that really showcased... This is a great mission, by the way. But this is the one that really showcases the crowd system. So you should go outside.
Let's go outside, yeah, first.
And check out the crowds. Because this was amazing. Because they even delivered this crowd system on PlayStation 2.
Okay. Oh, wow. A policeman's already interested in me. That's so unfair.
Like, you can see the limitations of this, obviously, but it's very cool, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, see, here I am just like... I'm just completely flabbergasted that this is even running on a machine at this time at all. Looking at the CPU utilization, I mean, I am getting 60 FPS here.
Again, dude, like this crowd exists in the PS2 version, so I mean, they figured it out.
Check it out how people are actually parting away from me and everything like that. I'm pushing them a bit, obviously pushing their models around, but they're real models.
It's a really cool system, I think. I love what they did with this.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, the texture's not that great there, but look at this. This is awesome. Yeah, Mardi Gras.
I mean, they successfully give you the feeling of being on a busy street, which is something that you will not see in this world any longer.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, John. Oh, little Corona jokes here and there. I mean, everyone here, just seeing people without wearing masks is always a little awkward. You're like, where's the mask?
I've been down to Mardi Gras before, and
have you?
It was fun.
Oh my goodness, that must have been so cool. I mean, New Orleans food is always, everyone.
Oh my
really
gosh,
good,
yeah.
Right? People always talk about Cajun food.
Oh man, different times here. 47 just back down in New Orleans.
Latin fever. There are some funny things I do like. I did mention in my so the rendering load does go up actually quite significantly by like 20% when one of those windows opens up almost, which is cool. But I talked about it in my volumetric lighting video, but this was like so of the era. These coronas around the light just being an actual thing around the light and not like some sort of post-process technique.
Dude, I think the first game that I really remember it being a big deal was Unreal 1.
Yeah. It
was everywhere.
And
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, look at this. I have to go.
Yeah, look at this.
I have to go find one of them. Oh wait, so there's a little bit of story here. Trying to avoid the policeman here. I think I should try and turn into one of the really weird little things.
You should.
Here. Okay, so
you need that costume.
I can push her on the ground. I'm so sorry. I don't want to hurt you, but I feel so bad doing. Okay, so she did maybe. I'm gonna grab the walkie-talkie and drag this body away. I did not want to kill this unfortunate woman, but so it goes. Oh God, that looks so good still. I do actually really like this animation quite a lot. There's got to be a way to hide this body here. My goodness. Come on, let's do this.
Steal the costume.
Oh yeah, let's do that first. Good point. I can.
Can you?
No, it's a female costume. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could wear that. That would be interesting. Agent 47, but
oh yeah, I don't know if 47 could pull off that look too well.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to leave this body here and actually just. Oh wait, no, wait. Let's open up this door and then go in here. Okay, let's do it. I do have a really, if I actually had more experience with this game, this is actually a game John has way more experience with me. I've played more Hitman 1, 2, and then the most recent Hitman games. I didn't play much of anything throughout the 360 period.
Oh man, I can't believe you missed Contracts.
Yeah,
that was my favorite one.
So do you know what is exactly primarily different between this and something like Contracts? If you had to describe it.
Contracts for me was specific. Well, first of all, it has the hotel mission, which is one of the greatest Hitman missions ever. It's just the perfect embodiment of everything Hitman should be. But what I loved about Contracts is like it was such a dark, atmospheric game, like really, really fantastic. And it just felt amazing creeping through that world. I loved it. It was an atmosphere that they've never like kind of gone back to fully. So I thought it was extremely enjoyable in that regard. And yeah, the hotel mission especially. Oof, that's a good mission.
It is actually kind of interesting that you mentioned that it's like a darker thing, because the Kane and Lynch games were real. I've played through 1 and 2, and I think they're some of the darkest games I've ever played in terms of just how debased the characters you are playing as in those games. They're just horrible people. And
well, I mean, like, it's a different kind of thing. It's almost like Hitman Contracts, like the intro and some of the stuff it deals with, like 47's, I guess, like psychological issues, like escaping from a mental health facility after you've been experimented on, like the origins of what 47 is, stuff like that. It's very interesting. Oh yeah, why don't you get him? He's watching letterboxed content on a 4x3 screen for some reason.
No one does that. Don't you ever do that.
Well, at least it's not pillar boxed on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, pillar boxing's fine actually. It's when you stretch 4x3 to a widescreen. That's when you deserve the piano wire.
Or actually, what's even worse? Taking 4x3 content and crop zooming it.
Again, there, look how they faked the shadow, the baked shadow from the couch.
That is actually pretty awesome and interesting.
Like it looks good, actually.
47's shadow here too also moves in the direction that the projection is. That's pretty cool. It goes through the television, I think, or goes through the couch, I think, if you look. But it's still pretty cool. So I don't know who this guy was. He's just this unfortunate sap that I just killed in his own home. Probably just wanted to watch some Mardi Gras television. I'm such a bad person. But I'm trying to think here.
Man, look at this Look at this room he's in, by the way. Like, this is a very depressing room. The wall the TV's on, it's just like this blank.
This looks like my flat, John. What are you talking about?
Oh, no.
If anyone,
sorry.
Yeah, I know. I always love those comments under my videos. They're like, Alex, why are there holes in your wall? Alex, why does your wall look like this? It's like, if you'd been to a Berlin flat before, you'd realize that this is pretty common. But I do like, so here, in lieu of them wanting to have a real working mirror here, they boarded up the mirror. But interestingly, on the first training level of this game, much like Hitman 2 and Hitman 3, the most recent ones, they use render-to-texture mirrors in one scene, and it's like lower res than the final output resolution.
Which was a very common technique during this during the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube era.
Yeah, right?
It wasn't a cheap effect, but it was an extremely achievable one.
Much more than it became later on.
You'd also see, of course, the similar kind of concept, but it's also different, where they would just invert the scene, or put like a simplified scene underneath the floor,
like Duke Nukem
just,
style.
Flip it.
I would call it.
Yeah. You would see this a lot. That's how they did all the reflections in like Metal Gear Solid 2, for instance. And you just put like a floor texture that has like sort of like puddles and such on it, with like nice alpha edges, so it looks like it's actually like a reflective puddle. It works. It's effective.
The way MGS2 does it is basically better looking than most of the puddles that we saw in something like the Xbox 360 gen. it definitely was.
I agree. Yeah, it was a smart move. It's simple in terms of what they're doing, but it just looks awesome.
This level is massive. I'm just like
floored
here.
There's a lot to this level.
And sorry, as someone who's never played this level before, unfortunately, I'm just kind of lost. Okay. And also talking with John about this, I'm not going to be bumbling around. I'm just kind of
back out of the crowd.
I'm also kind of actually really happy with the LODing of the crowd here. Yes, they get a little bit wonky looking, a little bit further away from the camera, but for the time, at the resolution you'd be playing this at, like, on PC 1024 by 768 all the way up to, like, I would say 1280 by 1024, you're not going to be noticing this nearly as much as you would on like a modern set.
It's pretty good.
It's effective.
I thought it's really cool. And this was, seeing large crowds like this was kind of the thing back then. I mean, the whole reason that State of Emergency got any hype, aside from the Rockstar connection, was because of its crowd system.
John, you just reminded me that game exists.
I know.
That game has one of the worst, I would say, covers of that gen.
It's terrible.
I hate the way that looks. My goodness, it's just so. Why?
There's also there's this obscure Japanese PlayStation 2 game called Ikusagami, which is known for putting 65,000 characters on screen.
Oh yeah.
But that's what they boasted, but obviously at a distance, I think it uses some crazy LOD techniques and like sprites and a whole mix of thing. But you have moving objects like stretching out into the horizon, and it's just everywhere. It's really crazy to see.
I don't know if you could see the way they decimate the mesh for women here for the one woman model.
I do. Yeah,
it's a little creepy. They get these stilt legs like that look like pincers. Oh jeez, like look at that. Ooh. There's a little bit of body horror going on right there. It's kind of amazing.
Pincer legs.
Yeah, pincer legs. Oh, John.
This probably works best at 480i, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it probably does. PlayStation 2's got it down here. So this guy's smoking. Let's just go back here. I don't know. Should I
see? He's rotating.
He's rotating. Yeah, around his face. Let's see. Is he suspicious? No, he's just.
I do appreciate how like there's this sort of gray state where he's like,
what are you doing here?
He's obviously perturbed by your presence, but he doesn't just immediately like open fire.
Yeah, isn't he like a little like? I would love to see more games where you're like following someone. They're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing here?" Whatever. Let's just do this.
There's a little bit of. I mean, that's one of the things I like about the new Hitman games, where it's like you go into an area that's restricted, and if you're not like brandishing weapons, they're just like, "Sir, you can't be here. Follow me. Come on, sir." And they like escort you out.
When I was playing Hitman, oh no! Oh, look what I'm again. Okay, let's just See how far I can take this. Again.
Committed crimes.
I've already committed crimes.
Actually,
oh, jeez.
you know what?
Look at that.
Just go out in the crowd with your ballers.
Yeah. Silver ball. Oh, let's just bring it on.
Just
These
unleash.
games, you can't. Oh, did I just die?
Uh-oh. You're like in slow motion, like last breath chance. Oh no, you're dead.
That was embarrassing. But you know what, John? I think we have to end it here because I am
that's
so
fine.
bad at this game when we're playing it like this. And I think
Alex is bad at Hitman.
Yeah, everyone please make fun of me, but I had a good time talking about Hitman, IO, and the tech of this time. But John, thank you for joining me.
Sure.
Yeah. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, write a comment below, support us on Patreon, all those good things. And I'm going to say, Auf Wiedersehen.
A breakthrough in design and engineering, the G915 features Lightspeed Pro-Grade Wireless, advanced LIGHTSYNC RGB, and new high-performance, low-profile mechanical switches. Meticulously crafted from premium materials, the G15 is a sophisticated design of unparalleled beauty, strength and performance. Meet G15 Lightspeed and play the next dimension.